You are a 40-year-old man and you make over $100,000 a year, then you're going to want to listen to this. Everyone thinks that the reason you feel bad the day after drinking alcohol is because of dehydration. But if that was the case, then why would alcohol be hard on your liver and why would it be hard on your brain? And in this video, I'm going to explain what you can actually do to support your liver and feel better the day after drinking alcohol. So follow me to the whiteboard and we're going to get scientific. Tag a friend who says that the only reason you feel bad the day after drinking alcohol is because of dehydration, because we're going to prove them wrong. And the way we're going to do that is by asking these 4 questions. Why do some people turn red when they drink? Why does alcohol ruin your sleep? Why is alcohol bad for your liver? And why does drinking more alcohol the next day make you feel better even though you're getting more dehydrated? Obviously, none of these things can be explained by simple dehydration. By far, the biggest reason that you feel bad the day after drinking alcohol is because of GABA rebound. It's probably 50 to 60% of the reason you feel bad. And the reason we know this is because if you drink more alcohol the next day, you will immediately start feeling better even though you've gotten more dehydrated and exposed yourself to more toxins. Therefore, it must be the case that GABA rebound is the main reason that you feel bad after drinking if 2 wrongs makes a right. Of course, it doesn't actually get rid of the problem. All it does is pushes the problem forward into the future. It's kind of like paying off a credit card with another credit card that's just due later in the month. You didn't get rid of the problem. In fact, you made it worse. The second biggest reason that you feel bad the day after drinking alcohol is acetaldehyde exposure. And it accounts for probably 20 to 40% of the reason you feel bad. And then finally, the tertiary cause of why you feel bad after drinking is dehydration. But really, mild dehydration really just leads to thirst and dry mouth, dark urine, and low urine production. And it's not until you get to the moderate dehydration levels, which they define as 5% of your body weight, and I'm a 200-pound man, so that'd be like me losing 10 pounds of fluids after a night of drinking, which doesn't really happen, that you get into the real head discomfort and the dehydration fatigue. The most important thing that you need to understand from all of this information is that GABA rebound leads to GABA rebound problems, and it explains why alcohol ruins your sleep and why drinking more alcohol the next day makes you feel better even though you're getting more dehydrated. See, it's all color coordinated in red. Acetaldehyde exposure explains why some people turn red when they drink and why alcohol is bad for your liver, and its problems are the body and the GI discomfort and the liver stress. And then the dehydration can't explain any of this, but it can explain the thirst and dry mouth, the dark urine, and the low urine production, and yes, if you got dehydrated enough, the head discomfort and the fatigue. When you drink alcohol, alcohol uses an enzyme called ADH and then converts into acetaldehyde. And then it uses an enzyme called ALDH and converts into acetate, which is basically just non-toxic vinegar, and you pee it out. Everyone thinks that alcohol is toxic, and it is true, alcohol is a little toxic, but it's really not toxic compared to acetaldehyde. Acetaldehyde is 20 to 30 times more toxic than alcohol is itself. So when people say alcohol is poisonous or alcohol is toxic, what they really mean is that in the human body it converts into acetaldehyde, and that's what's actually making it so toxic, not the alcohol itself. So you may want the alcohol because that's what's making you feel good, but you definitely don't want the acetaldehyde because that is what's so hard on your liver. The human body can only process about 1 standard drink's worth of acetaldehyde per hour, and unfortunately that number goes down as you get older. So when you were 21, you could drink a lot of alcohol and you could process it pretty quickly and you didn't feel too bad the next day. But as you get to be 25, 30, 35, 40, 50, then it doesn't take a whole lot of acetaldehyde to make you feel bad the next day, and that's because you're processing it less efficiently. Thankfully though, there is a way that we can actually bypass this through science. In Cheers Restore, there is an amino acid called L-cysteine, and in the presence of acetaldehyde, L-cysteine will actually bind to acetaldehyde and form a non-toxic compound called MTCA, effectively neutralizing acetaldehyde. And this is really potent stuff because there's actually been human studies that show that in people with a stomach condition which has naturally high levels of acetaldehyde, that the use of L-cysteine can actually lower this acetaldehyde by as much as half. So this is actually very powerful stuff. There's also a flavonoid in here called dihydromycetitin, or DHM for short. And DHM has been shown to actually speed up the rate of ALDH. And why this matters is that it means that Cheers is dual action in its ability to reduce acetaldehyde exposure. So it can neutralize acetaldehyde through the use of L-cysteine, and it can speed up the rate of ALDH through the use of DHM. So you're going to form more MTCA faster, and you're going to form more acetate faster, ultimately leading to less acetaldehyde exposure in total. Now, we also know that alcohol affects the brain, and it is not affecting the brain through dehydration. No, it makes you feel good because alcohol binds to specific receptors on your brain called GABA, and this has a depressant effect that causes you to feel relaxed, carefree, and generally good. As your BAC is increasing, alcohol tends to make you feel better. But as your BAC starts decreasing, you'll actually go into a state of rebound, and you'll actually have the opposite effect. Rather than feeling relaxed, carefree, and generally good, you'll feel irritated, stressed, and generally bad. If you administer Cheers with or after your last alcoholic beverage, which is typically going to be your peak BAC, then the alcohol is going to be leaving your bloodstream and therefore leaving those GABA receptors, and DHM is going in and binding to those same receptors and actually buffering this rebound so that you sleep better and end up waking up feeling better the next day. If you go look at our reviews, what you're going to find is that most people say that Cheers made them feel 50% better, or in other words, they feel like they had roughly half as many drinks as they thought they should have. And our claim to fame is that if you don't feel at least 50% better, we will give you a full refund, no questions asked. This product was on the season finale of Shark Tank, and since then we've sold over 40 million doses, and it is in over 30,000 brick and mortar retail locations, including Walgreens, CVS, Albertsons, Hy-Vee, Meijer, Wegmans, H-E-B, 7-Eleven, Circle K, and a whole lot more coming soon. This right here is our 1-pack where you can get 1 dose for $5 a dose. This right here is our 3-pack where you can get 3 doses for $4 a dose. And this right here is our value pack where you can get 12 doses for $3 a dose. This right here is the best value, and it is typically always cheapest on TikTok Shop where we are running a sale. Who's this product for? It's for people who drink alcohol, are responsible adults, and they actually care about their health. So if that's you, you should use Cheers.